Greetings and salutations. So I had recorded a video before when I was crying, and I'm not new to crying on video, but it was a different kind of cry. I haven't watched the video back yet, but as it was getting, I think, more intense, I stopped recording because yes, it just felt, but I'm gonna share it after this. I figured I wasn't gonna start out with that one, so I will stitch that in after this video. I don't think I was fully able to get out what it is I was trying to say. There was, some happening there, and so I'm not sure the words were too clear, but essentially just going back to the idea. It's so interesting, like right after I had stopped the recording, a friend of mine called, and generally in those moments, because it's happened before where I've been crying and someone has called, and I just kind of sucked it up and answered, pretending like everything was okay. And I tried to do that in this scenario, and it did not quite work out in that way. I picked up the phone, and yeah, it was just like, those cries where you can't really breathe. It's like can't get the words out because your breaths are so short. It was that kind of cry. And I said to her, I was like, kind of, I tried to, suck it in so that I could, answer without being, because usually I'd either try to suck it up or I just wouldn't answer. I'd wait until a moment where, things felt like, easier, I guess, because I'm not really one to share when things are, a bit heavier. So, I answered and was able to share in that moment, and just grateful for that, grateful for her calling in exactly that moment, because she literally called right after I stopped the recording. And she, after I shared with her, she reflected to me, kind of the same sentiments I was expressing in the video, that, that idea that no one can tell you who it is that you are, how people perceive you, how they perceive the decisions you make, and, any of it. Their perceptions say more about themselves than they do about you, even though within, the expression, there was some truths that I am able to, receive within it. I also recognize that, a lot of it is also just projection, but yeah, I had a very intense moment of just deep anger and frustration and hurt. I think when the people that you love and you care about and you value, how they perceive you, not necessarily that you need it to validate you, or not necessarily that you use it to create like your identity of whoever it is that you are, but it's people that you care about, and to yeah, just to hear, and not necessarily the truth, you know, because at my core, I know that a lot of the words said and expressed weren't necessarily fully meant. You know, it was a lot of what came through from my side and from the side of the other individual. You know, I know that there are words filled with anger and you know, pain that has been suppressed, that's wanting to come out, you know. And for me, like, I felt it like throughout my body. Like, I pushed back literally and figuratively. And you know, while that's not a way that I believe you know, anger should be expressed like physically like that, I'm grateful to have had the moment where it was able to be seen, you know, and felt fully, you know. Yeah, you know, I don't necessarily regret any of it, you know. I don't regret the things expressed. I don't I don't regret the things received. There's definitely a lot of pain that came up within it all, but you know, still grateful for the moment and the ability to move through it. Yeah. Yeah, so I will add that video after this. Now I'm gonna go watch it and then maybe perhaps share it. We'll see. All right. Yeah. Wow. Greetings and salutations. You know, in an effort to be as real, you know, as I can be in this process. Just wanting to share what is coming through in this moment. You know, one of the themes I think that has been coming up for me, that I had made a video last week, I believe as well, and just the idea that, you know, no one can tell you who you are, and just you know, being in a space where, you know, maybe my life choices have not really lined up to you know, what might be perceived as responsible or stable or you know, it incorporates a lot of magical thinking and delusions of grandeur. um, you know, a couple years ago, I had to move back home. um, you know, with my daughter, I sold our condo and kind of have just been, you know, living off of that the last couple of years. I moved back in with my parents and just kind of navigating through, you know, the differences in perception of the world, you know. You know, whereas I might see these last couple years as, you know, there has been work that has been done. It might not have all been external. I might not have physical things to show for it. But I feel the growth from it. I feel the changes within myself. And I think it's sometimes harder when, you know, the people that you love and care about and you really value the way that they see you, when they're not able to see you at all, you know. Okay, so I just watched that video that I just played. Still gonna share it, but I guess just wanting to, you know, re-listening, I kind of, some thoughts were coming through. So I guess this is a pretty long video. Hope you made it this far. Hey. But yeah, I think one of the things that I was saying that I just wanted to kind of expand on is this idea that, you know, a lot of times, you know, and people might not necessarily be able to understand. Okay, so that was a moment where usually I would be re-recording what I was just saying, but I'm choosing not to in this moment. I don't know why, because I really could just re-record, but it's more so the idea of like not having that perfect, you know, message. And not that I'm looking for perfection, but, you know, instead of like coming off as if it's like, you know, just one cohesive thought that was, you know, coming through, like making it clear, you know, this process of, you know, sometimes kind of like, wait, what was I saying? I probably should have rewatched what I had recorded to kind of remember where I was going. But I think it was just wanting to, yeah, kind of talk about the edge within this moment for me, you know, and it is like looking at kind of where I am and recognizing, you know, the judgments that I have of myself, you know, that kind of came up and were reflected within the conversation, argument, brawl. It wasn't a brawl. But no, I did kind of step outside of, what, I think most people would have probably been surprised to bear witness to me in that moment. Very few would not be surprised. But yeah, acknowledging and recognizing that there's a lot like buried deep that is wanting to come through, and finding healthier ways to do that. But yeah, just kind of navigating through, or thinking about where I am right now. I feel like maybe I should just make this like a separate video, because it's gonna be super long, but we'll see. Because by the time I'm done stitching everything together, it's fine. Actually, it's probably better that way, because most people won't make it like all the way to the end to see the flubs. That's the trick. Wait until the end to share all the dicey stuff. Dicey? Spicy? Not spicy. But all the more, but no. I honestly don't remember what it is that I was even wanting to share or clarify now. So I might as well just end this here and perhaps sit with that. Oh, the edge about where I am, and just kind of the circumstances that I am in, while I personally might not feel, well, I think that would be a lie if I said I feel no shame around it. I think I do. I feel shame around it, because I still carry judgments within me just about, where it is I'm supposed to be right now in this moment. This idea that there is a place that I'm supposed to be, that we're supposed to, have things looking a certain way and being, whatever, an adult, right? And while I understand that, yes, there are responsibilities, for me, I think my greater responsibility is to trust this process that I am navigating through, to trust that a big part of, what it is I'm wanting to create and call in is the unearthing of self, right? It is allowing myself to put time and energy into me. This is I think an important part of this container, in general, because in order for us to be that clear vessel for what needs to flow through, we have to allow ourselves to truly unearth like all that's underneath. And for me, a big part of it has been trusting myself, something that I struggled with. I did not trust my own self, my own mind, my own thoughts. And even if I did, I would still go against it to kind of appease or favor what other people around me wanted, and kind of being in this space now where I'm allowing myself to fully trust the path that I'm on, and to trust that all that's happening is with purpose, despite any naysayers, despite the inability for people around me to see or to recognize that, and if you see me as a performer or a fraud or, you know, into theatrics. That's okay. Because I know, you know, what's true in my heart, you know, and as much as it hurts, it's okay. You know, it's okay if, you know, everyone isn't able to see what I see. You know, it's okay if this version of me, where I am in this space, doesn't seem to be enough, you know, because I know I'm enough. I know, I know that I'm stuffed up. You know, and I'm grateful for the moment, you know. I'm continuing to trust in this process and to trust in all that is coming through within this. Yeah. I'll let it just roll off your back. Although actually not. I don't think so. I think like to feel it, you know, to feel the weight of it and to recognize that it's actually, it's not mine. It's not, you know, the weight of other people's judgments and perceptions, you know, it's not ours to carry. So working on releasing that, you know, setting the intention to release that and to love myself more deeply within it, you know. Kind of goes back to the idea, you know, I'm not for everyone, and that's okay, you know. I understand that from the outside, looking in, I probably do appear maybe a bit irresponsible, maybe more than a bit. And that's okay. You know, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Or I'm working on being okay with that. Clearly I'm not fully okay with that. You know, I think there's a few indicators that, you know, maybe I'm perhaps not as okay as I am saying, but I'm aware that, you know, someone else's thoughts and ideas about me aren't my truth, you know. And yeah, and I'm grateful for you know, all the people in my life that remind me otherwise, you know. Grateful for my friend and her words of encouragement that, you know, means so much, you know. Grateful for all the people that are, you know, embarking on this journey and inspiring me to reflect on myself in so much deeper ways, you know. Yeah. And I'm grateful for myself in being open to the journey and being open to what's coming through and to share that. Oh, darn. It's gonna be a really long video. Oh, wait, no, I'm gonna have to post it in like a couple shots because I don't think on Instagram it's gonna let me post like a really long video. Forgot about that. but that's beyond the point. With that, I am feeling complete in this moment. Yeah. Sending much love.